1,000 miles. From Yukon to Alaska, 11 checkpoints. 26 mushers. 364 sled dogs. Minus 40 degrees. A race against time. Only one winner. Mushers conquering the Yukon Quest, the most extreme race in the world. It's been only a few hours since the start of the 31st Yukon Quest. One by one, the 26 teams leave in 3-minute intervals, heading for the first checkpoint, Braeburn. Handlers, veterinarians, and organizers have raced ahead to prepare for the first teams to arrive. Jeff King pulls ahead to lead the pack. If he keeps this pace, he'll be in Braeburn at 9 p.m. His average speed is 10 miles per hour, including snack breaks for his team. His dogs are virtual machines. There are 5 mandatory layovers during the race. The first is 6 hours, and mushers have the choice of taking it at Braeburn or Carmacks checkpoints. One reason for this first layover is to correct for the 3-minute intervals at the starting line.
For an example, the musher that starts last, it's a 6-hour mandatory layover. Well, he has no time to make up since he started last. So his mandatory layover will be exactly 6 hours. The musher that starts next to last will stay 6 hours and 3 minutes. And then you just add 3 minutes all the way to the first guy who started off the line.
The most important reason for the mandatory layovers is the well-being of the dogs and the mushers. As expected, Jeff King arrives at Braeburn just before 9 p.m. He decides to take his layover here. He has quite a lead over his nearest rivals who are many miles behind him. Jeff's team seems unbeatable.
Safe to say, if got one eating or drinking, we'd love to have them left alone till they're done. Such a treasure.
On travaille ensemble, les mushers et les vétérinaires, parce que peut-être les mushers voient quelque chose que j'ai pas remarqué ou l'inverse. Alors, on essaie de regarder les chiens et s'il y a un petit problème, on donne les conseils et le musher peut faire ce qu'on veut avec notre conseil, mais vraiment, les mushers et les vétérinaires, nous avons le même but pour les chiens et c'est d'avoir bonne santé pendant toute la course.
Alan Moore arrives 2 hours after Jeff King. Brent Sass arrives in 6th position just after midnight. He's the first musher to decide to push on for another 77 miles and take his layover in Carmacks. This decision puts him in the lead for now. Normand Cassavant, who left Whitehorse in 3rd position, seems to be falling behind.
Il était à peu près à 19 000, donc j'attends, puis je fais comme tout le monde, je suis sur l'ordinateur ses déplacements.
All dog sleds are now equipped with a GPS tracking device. They allow each team to be monitored in real time online.
When I first started, your handlers and everybody, you'd have a whole bunch of handlers just out freezing in front of the checkpoints because there was no way to know where you were. And so there was no way to track it.
It lets you know how fast we're going, where we are. If somebody's about to catch me or I'm about to catch someone else.
This simple piece of technology allows hundreds of thousands of fans around the world to follow the race in real time. It allows them to keep track of the standings for their favorite teams.
I know when I'm out on the trail, I can think, and I know right then there are thousands of people watching that little dog on that tracker, checking out the website.
But mushers are not allowed to use any communication devices during the race.
You're not allowed any access to computers or anything like that that would tell you how far, how fast you've been going, any of that data. It's for race officials, it's for people at home. That's all it's for.
But mushers can use a handheld GPS.
They can carry a GPS, so people will carry those, but that's about all we allow, and we allow absolutely no two-way communication devices.
Most mushers still prefer to trust the markers on the trail.
You are allowed to use the GPS, and one reason it's hard to keep people from using it. I don't think GPS help you that much. What it does do is if you want to run 50 miles when you rest, well, it'll tell you you've gone 50 miles. So other than that, it's not a big deal.
Hugh Neff arrives in Braeburn 36 minutes behind Brent Sass. Hugh has moved up 16 positions from 26th to 10th. Hugh also decides not to take his layover here. He leaves hot on Brent's tail. Hugh is the 4th to leave Braeburn. Even though the dogs have covered 100 miles, they're eager to continue to the next checkpoint. Just like any professional athletes, the teams have been training regularly since the previous summer.
Deux, trois, quatre fois par semaine, Karine à part avec des chiens. Elle se met avec ses petites booties, on est au prem, puis elle s'en va dans le creek. Elle s'en va mouiller, faire nager, sauter dans l'eau.
In addition to being Normand's spouse, Karine shares his passion for dogs. She's been his handler for years and is involved in many aspects of the dog's training.
Donc, qu'est-ce qu'un handler, un valet de chenil? C'est quelqu'un qui va être le bras droit du mocheur. On va aider le mocheur à entraîner les chiens, à nourrir les chiens, à soigner les chiens, à comprendre la psychologie canine, à anticiper des situations.
Chaque chien qui sont venus ici, j'ai dû leur montrer à venir dans l'eau. Parce que c'est pas la génétique des chiens de traîneau d'aimer l'eau. Le but, c'est quand ils vont traverser les courants d'eau l'hiver, ou les criques qui sont pas gelés l'hiver dans la course de traîneau à chiens, ils vont avoir une aisance à le faire. Ça va être facile pour eux parce qu'ils connaissent que c'est pas dangereux.
Il y a des idées préconçues qui laissent croire qu'il faut que le chien soit élevé à la dure ou qu'il soit attaché tout le temps. Comme ça, il va tirer plus ou des choses comme ça. Mais avec toute l'expérience qu'on a, puis à force de regarder les gagnants, je me rends compte que la relation qu'il y a, c'est une relation qui est basée sur le respect.
I need the attention and the love, and just to get out and have fun.
And then it becomes a relationship that, you know, they're like your kids. That's the fun part, is trying to figure out how to make them better and how to make us better as a team.
Ça permet d'établir une confiance vraiment solide qu'un coup que tu es rendu dans le sentier, qu'il se passe n'importe quoi, le chien, il va faire n'importe quoi pour te sortir du pétrin.
C'est pas des motoneiges, c'est des êtres vivants. C'est vraiment des êtres vivants. Ça fait tellement une grosse différence quand on les traite comme ça. C'est plus un travail, c'est un plaisir à accomplir de tirer un traîneau ou de tirer un 4 roues.
But the love for his dogs must be shared equally among the whole team.
Not giving too much love to any particular dogs. You have to spread it out. So that's a big part of mushing, is to make sure that every dog you have your personal relationship with, you have your conversation with them, you know what they enjoy.
I love my girl. Le mot magique, c'est bon chien. Tu montres à un chien à vouloir lui mettre son harnais. Quand tu as fini d'y mettre le harnais, bon chien, tu lui fais une belle caresse. Le chien est content, il associe ça à quelque chose de bon. Il a fini sa gamelle, il a tout mangé, tu es fier, il a tout mangé. J'aime bien que les chiens connaissent leur nom. Quand on emploie une tonalité, on dit « pitoune » en avant. Et tous les autres chiens ne le prennent pas personnel. J'ai dit à pitoune en avant, on garde sa position pitoune. Pitoune, elle sait, j'ai nommé son nom. C'est un effet de meute. Tu parles à un individu et le reste de la meute ne se sentent pas touchés par le commandement. Ça, c'est une chose que les gens réalisent pas toujours. On travaille pas avec un chien, on travaille avec une meute. Donc, il y a deux psychologies. Il y a la psychologie de meute et la psychologie individuelle du chien.
Mushers need to establish solid relationships with all their dogs.
They know when I'm pissed off, they know when I'm excited, they know when I'm happy, they know when I want them to make a change, just by the tone of my voice.
Will Brent Sass maintain his lead? It's day 2 in Braeburn. Many teams have chosen not to take their layover here, and it certainly has changed the standings. Because the Yukon Quest is the toughest sled dog race in the world, the organizers' top priority is the health and well-being of the canine athletes. Each year, 20 veterinarians volunteer to work on the race. The first official exam takes place 1 week before the start. This year, 416 dogs are examined, but only 364 of the healthiest dogs will be allowed to compete. Nina Hansen has been involved in the race since 2009. She is now in charge of the veterinary team.
They're allowed to have 16 dogs examined, and then they start the race with 14, so that kind of gives them 2 alternates. So we'll get 16 dogs done in an hour between 2 veterinarians. They're generally very healthy dogs with no issues, so it's not like in a practice setting where you're examining a sick dog that someone brought in that maybe will take a lot longer. So they're all healthy dogs, and if they're not, we don't let them run.
Jessica Heath has a clinic in Whitehorse. She's been involved in the race for many years.
We're checking their body condition to make sure they have enough muscle mass and body fat stores to do well on a 1,000-mile race. We're checking their skins to make sure that they don't have any frostbite or any wounds that might get infected. We're checking all of their joints and legs to make sure that they're comfortable, they don't have any pain, they don't have any lameness issues that are going to slow them down on the trail. And we're checking their heart and lungs to make sure that they're in good shape to run 1,000 miles.
We put her in a 4 for body condition, so we just want her to eat like an alligator. Is she eating well right now?
She's eating well right now because I'm less training right now, so she's better.
Cool, so we just want to jam as much food into
That's
her as
one
we
of the
can.
dogs that it's hard.
Yeah, she's one of those?
Yeah, exactly. I have to tricoter.
All these dogs are fantastic, so they're in really good body condition. These are probably the best pre-race dogs I've ever seen.
Your average sled dog is thinner than your average pet dog at the start, but we don't want them to lose so much weight that they're not going to be able to finish. So if they don't meet our standard for weight at the start, we won't let them go. I got to say, I haven't seen a dog with a lameness a week before the race, because you know, they train all year to get them in excellent shape prior to the start.
During the examinations, veterinarians make sure that every dog has a microchip to prevent identification errors. Each exam is carefully documented in a book that travels with the team.
Every dog has a couple of pages in that notebook, and that stays on the sled. And there's no guarantee you're going to see the same vet over and over. And then the next vet, if it's a different vet, we'll take that book, read through that, and know who they need to examine. And then that's part of their mandatory gear, so they have to have that in their sled all the time.
At 48 minutes past midnight, Nicolas Vanier arrives in Braeburn in 12th position. Normand Cassavin arrives 3 minutes later in 13th position. The race is a test of the mushers' resourcefulness. The handlers are not allowed to help with the dogs until Dawson City. Their primary job is to care for dogs that are no longer able to run.
Ça va très bien, merci. OK. Normand Cassavin, Norman Cassavin.
They can talk and interact all they want. We allow the handlers to meet the team when they come into a checkpoint, and after the mushers all checked in, the handler can help assist in the parking until the team's all secured. Then the handler has to leave the area. Can't touch the dogs, can't do anything, break up a fight, obviously, if something like that happened, or if some other, emergency or instance happened.
Normal, est-ce que tu restes? Tu vas rester?
The Yukon Quest has created many rules to regulate the race.
Well, some of them are cut and dried, like in black and white. If you forget to sign out of a checkpoint and don't come back and re-sign out, I believe it's a $500, straight $500 fine. A lot of them I have discretion over. We don't put every little thing in there and say this is either a monetary or a time penalty. All the rules that deal with the dog care and how our vets and how our officials interact with the mushers in relation to dog care, those are probably the most important rules, you know, to me out there. How we care for the animals.
Okay.
All right, can I see your sleeping bag?
Yes, madame. Sleeping bag is right here, madame.
Right in there, all right. Your cooker.
My cooker is under that bag. Right.
All right.
Okay.
Fuel.
You?
At each checkpoint, mushers have to go through a check-in process. They all have to carry a list of mandatory items.
Some of the things like snowshoes, axe, a good cold weather sleeping bag, those kind of things are very practical. And you'd like to think that everybody would carry what was necessary, you know, for them to make do in a wilderness situation if they needed those type of tools.
Il fait fret en tabarouette. C'est bon les boys, on reste tranquille. Good boy. C'est des good boy. Oh. Mais c'est une bonne idée, ça. Ça, c'est la meilleure idée que tu les bons chats. Ils sont contents.
Normand has dropped to 13th position, but his dogs are still in top form. Will he be able to make up his lost time? It's 2 a.m. on day 2 of the Yukon Quest. 18 teams have completed the first 100 miles of the race in minus 40-degree temperatures. Matt Hall decides to carry on to Carmacks while Jason Campeau settles into the dog yard alongside Normand Cassavant.
Oui, son numéro 1, là. Numéro 1. Lui, je comprends pas ça que je suis arrivé ici et qu'il n'y ait pas de bottines. J'ai mis des bottines. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Il va tout perdu? Peut-être qu'il les a enlevés. Je vais checker tes pieds.
Normand has passed the point where he scratched the previous year.
Il y a encore 900 000 à faire. On pourra regarder ça plus tard. Tout ce que je sais, c'est que je suis arrivé ici avec une petite belle équipe. Toute de bonne humeur. Puis ça, c'est le plus beau cadeau que je peux avoir. La température est froide, mais c'est correct. Tout va super bien. Puis mes chiens vont bien. J'ai peut-être un chien qui a perdu un petit peu de poids déjà sur 100 000, qu'il va falloir que j'aille à l'œil. Un jeune, donc qui s'est donné à fond. Fait que je vais l'avoir à l'œil. Puis tout va super bien. Je suis super content.
8 hours separate the leaders from the last team. Damon Tedford is now in 22nd position. The Rangers are leaving Carmacks to check the trail to Pelly Crossing, the third checkpoint.
C'est ma cuisine. Quand on n'a pas le temps de s'arrêter pour faire un feu, on peut mettre notre nourriture à l'intérieur pour qu'elle se réchauffe. C'est très simple, très efficace. On est arrivé à Carmacks ici à minuit et demi, 1h moins quart du matin. La piste était froide, on a commencé à moins 32 à Whitehorse, et quand on est arrivé à Carmacks, il faisait moins 41. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de neige sur la piste, alors il y a des places où c'est bien bosseux, c'est difficile à passer. La piste hier soir de nuit était très bonne, enfin très bonne pour la Quest. Je ne pense pas que la Quest est faite pour les faibles d'esprit. L'autre chose qui est la plus difficile, pas tellement pour moi, mais pour beaucoup, c'est de ne pas dormir. On voyage 10, 12, 14, 16 heures. On s'arrête, on mange, on dort 2 heures, 3 heures, 4 heures, c'est une très bonne nuit. Et le reste, c'est tout sans arrêt.
It's a 24-hour job. In actual days or hours of swinging an axe, it would vary from 10 to 16 hours, you know, and in all daylight conditions, either the middle of day or you can be coming off of the trail at 10 or 12, or in the case of the trail proving team, at any hour of the day.
Aujourd'hui, on va passer sur la glace et apparemment, il y a des endroits où la glace est très élevée et on va avoir des trous comme ça pour passer. Apparemment, c'est la partie la plus difficile entre ici et Pelly. Et on est un peu inquiet, on va emporter moins de choses avec nous, juste au cas. Aujourd'hui, ça va être du travail et probablement la journée la plus froide. Ils disent moins 51 cette nuit.
The vets and race officials are now moving to the Carmacks checkpoint. In order to have everything ready, Natalie Haldrich has only had an hour and a half of sleep. Everyone waits patiently for Hugh Neff. He's gained speed overnight and managed to pass Brent Sass, Jeff King, and Cody Strath. He should be arriving in a few minutes as volunteers wait for him in minus 42 degrees.
Selon le spot tracker, on était préparé déjà ici pour lui recevoir une demi-heure. Mais c'est ça l'affaire, la piste peut être dure. Juste à l'extérieur du checkpoint, ça peut être une piste vraiment dure, puis il peut ralentir vraiment, alors on ne sait pas. On attend.
At 10 a.m., Hugh Neff finally arrives in Carmacks. He has reached his goal and taken the lead. He's 2 hours ahead of his closest rivals. But at this stage, 2 hours doesn't mean much. Could the champion from 2012 lose his lead to Jeff King or Brent Sass in the next leg of the race? And will Normand Cassavant continue to drop in the rankings?